Hi, this is Coach Dave Goranson from Goranson Consulting. This is going to be the first of what's going to become a monthly video FAQ, and that was generated by the number of questions I get when I'm out in the workplace, on site with clients, giving speeches, and also coming through the website itself. What we want to accomplish here is try and touch briefly each month on what the hot topics are. This is just an introductory video. There'll be others coming, so please keep your eye out for them. There will be announcements to help you find that. First of all, first question from the readers, viewers, and listeners out there. Number one, Dave, what are you seeing in the workplace today? What are you hearing? Number one thing, no surprise to any of you, stress. Stress, stress, stress. Now, the best term I've seen and heard is working scared. Dates back to a book in the 70s that I just used as part of a workshop a couple of months ago for a very diverse group of people. The bottom line is, with layoffs, with job eliminations, with mergers, with acquisitions, with elimination of benefits, on and on and on, it's a scary world out there. So what you have is people working scared, which obviously isn't good for peak performance. It's not good for their health. It's not good for long-term retention. It's not good for productivity. It's not good for morale. None of that should come as a surprise to anyone, but what I would tell you is you're not alone. It doesn't matter whether you're in a not-for-profit or in the largest organization in the world. Everyone's feeling it. Number two question, what are the top three things you would recommend we do to address this? Excellent question. And there's probably more than three, but the first one that I'd recommend would be filter out as much as you can all of the negative messages that we're getting. And there's a number of ways to do that without eating up a lot of time today. The first one is just turn it off for a while. Turn the media off, and if you're around people that are getting caught up in that, remove yourself from them or talk to them about it if they're a friend, and tell them the impact that's having on you. The most heavy weight is clearly negative weight. And the only way I know to remove yourself from that, no matter how resilient and upbeat you are, is sometimes you just got to shut it off or remove yourself from it. We're only human. We can only resist so long. Another key piece to that would be don't go it alone. You're not alone. That's the first thing I heard a couple of months ago with the workshop we did. Was we had everything from a huge multi-line insurance company to a tiny little entrepreneurial company to a not-for-profit, and they all were experiencing the same things to a large degree. And the number one thing I heard, even from the one most insulated, was, wow, I'm glad we talked about this. That was a huge weight off my shoulders. Talk to somebody. Talk to a friend. Talk to a coworker that you like and trust. Talk to the boss if the boss is open to that. But the bottom line is, don't try to go it alone. Weed your way through it. Keep a stiff upper lip, because again, you're resisting something negative. You're going to wear yourself out. Everyone's going through this. So what I would say is try and find as many avenues as you can to get that out of your system. It's all part of stress management. The last piece I'd say that's really critical, especially to organization leaders to start with, and then to have it trickle down to the troops. Doesn't matter what size organization. Focus on what you're doing right. There are a lot of things you're doing right. Recognize what you're doing right. Just recognize the fact that without your people, the doors wouldn't be open, and let them know how much you appreciate them. And the same goes for you with your coworkers, and even on a personal basis, family and friends. It's a tough time. We're getting out of it. Things will get better. They always do. But the long and the short of it is, what you want to pay attention to is learning how to do some self-recognition, catch yourself doing something right, and catch others doing something right. And that becomes a snowball. That becomes a trend, and that's a good one. The last piece of the puzzle for today would be, if you could recommend just one thing, Dave. I love this question. What's the number one thing on your list? That's an easy one for me. And I spend all my time speaking to it, talking around it, and talking about it. It still comes down to communication. If you want to make it through tough times, good times, retain your people, watch them flourish, get where you want to get, figure out where you want to get, it all comes down to communication. And there's many types of communication. We're going to touch on that in some upcoming video, but also some webinar offerings that you'll hear about. Number one thing that was brought up in that group, and I hear all the time, is how information trickles down from the top to the rest of the team, to the rest of the organization, is critical. The town hall meeting concept's a great one. If you've got one location, boss, you need to be there in front of them, not on a webinar and not on the phone. Even if you have multiple locations, getting out into the field right now more than ever and talking with your people is really important. If you're a supervisor, team leader, manager of your own people, share as much information as you can, provided that fits in with the culture of your company, or the culture of your company is changing in a way that you recognize the need to do that. It will help tremendously. Share information, share experiences, good or bad. Let people know what's going on. Be honest, be genuine, be authentic. Because right now, if you're anything else, you're wasting energy that you don't have to give, and it's going to impact your results in a negative way. So what I would say for now is, yeah, it's tough out there, but I'm starting to hear some success stories or things leveling out. Number two, it still comes down to your people. The number one asset in any organization is people. It's the only one that can appreciate and value. And in order to get the most out of it and have the most fun, even when it seems like that's impossible some days, it's all about communication and learning how to get better at it, all the various styles of communication. And don't forget, communication means to listen and really hear them as well. Thanks, and we'll talk to you again in the next month.